When the internet was born, minus 1969. It was the year 1969, and the world was about to change forever. On October that year, the very first message was sent over the ARPANET, which would later become the internet. The message was simply login. It was sent by a computer at UCLA to another computer at Stanford. But the message didn't get through. It crashed after low. Can you imagine? Even the first message in the history of the internet was a login request. It just goes to show how important logins are. They are so important that an entire company is dedicated to making sure people do and forget their passwords. But let's go back to 1969. Back then, the internet looked nothing like it does today. There were no social media sites, no streaming services, not even a single website. In fact, the first website wasn't created until 1991. More than 20 years after the ARPANET was created by the US military. It was a way to connect different computers and allow them to share resources. At first, the network was only used by a few thousand people, most of them students and researchers. But the network grew quickly, and by the 1980s had over 100,000 users. In 1983, the ARPANET was officially turned over to the National Science Foundation, and it became known as the NASFNET. At this point, the network was open to anyone in the United States who had an internet connection. The NSFNET continued to grow, and by the mid-1990s, had over 1 million users. In 1995, the World Wide Web Consortium, W3C, was created. This organization is responsible for setting the standards for the World Wide Web. The first thing they did was create a set of guidelines for how web pages should be created. These guidelines are still in use today. In the late 1990s, the internet really started to take off. More and more people were getting access to the internet, and more websites were being created. In 1998, Google was founded, and the internet would never be the same. Today, the internet is used by billions of people all around the world. It's used for everything from shopping, to banking, to socializing. It's hard to imagine life without it. But it all started with a simple login request. A message that was sent over 50 years ago, but didn't get through. But without that message, we might not have the internet today. So what will you do on this channel? You can expect to learn a lot of interesting things about the history of the internet. You will also get to see some really cool old computers and other interesting artifacts from the early days of the internet. So if you love all that kind of stuff, then make sure to follow for more updates. And who knows, maybe you'll learn something about the history of the internet that you never knew before.